Hello people, this is Mike Jr. II. Welcome back to On the Mic. So, today we're going to be talking about both the 2DS and the PlayStation Vita TV, considering the fact that both of those are handheld news that have come out. The 2DS stuff has kind of been out for a long time now, but I do want to give my own opinions on that. The PlayStation Vita TV thing came out a few days ago, I believe, and I do want to talk about that as well. But first, let's go on about the 2DS, since, everyone knows about that. Let's just get that out of the way. I just wanted to say my own opinions on the 2DS, that I don't really understand a lot of the hate a lot of people are giving it, considering the fact that the 2DS is basically supposed to be a budget system for a younger audience. I mean, a lot of it kind of comes from the fact that, one, parents aren't going to be wanting to spend a lot of money on, on a new device for a kid, especially if it's easily breakable. I mean, the whole 3D feature, I love the 3D feature personally, and I think a lot of people out there are kind of thinking to themselves, I'd like the budget version. I mean, it's a $40 difference, so, I could buy a whole nother game with that. And, but at the same time, I kind of want to at least have the 3D experience if possible, so I think I'll stick with it, which is fine. However, parents that are either worried about the 3D function messing with kids' eyes, it really can't, from what I've heard so far. It's actually helped some people with their depth perception, so, hey, cool for that too. But anyway, for the most part, if parents are still worried about that, and they're worried that it's going to be easily breakable, the 2DS allows for a very simple option. And some people see that, but at the same time, other people are complaining about other things for the 2DS, which happens to be the how the controller looks like. I'll try to put something on screen if possible, but basically the 2DS kind of looks awkward, I will admit. It is it's an interesting a thing to it, because basically what a lot of people are complaining about is the whole thing that they're not doing the whole clamshell thing, basically that you can't open and close it like you could since the Game Boy Advance SP. I think it was the SP, and then I think it was the Game Boy Micro, then the SP came out. After that, I think most of the things so far for handhelds, like main handhelds for the system, have basically been open and closed. So this is different, and a lot of people are complaining about that. Oh, you can't fit it in your pocket now, that's so bullshit and stuff. And it's like, well, it should be said that this is supposed to be, again, made for a younger audience. And I know people are complaining, well, kids aren't that stupid, they're not going to break stuff. Really? Why is it that all of a sudden when playing adult games, people think, oh, kids are too stupid, they shouldn't be allowed to play any kind of game like COD or anything like that, and yet they go back to this topic and they're like, oh, they're the smartest things in the fucking world, there's no way a kid will ever be clumsily drop the fucking thing, snap it in half. That never fucking happens. I hate people sometimes, considering the fact that how stupid it is that you fucking switch sides like that. Are they smart or are they stupid? Please, come to a conclusion about that. I think kids are smart enough to be able to play any kind of mature video game, but at the same time, that doesn't mean we're not clumsy, that anybody's not clumsy, and that the system can't break. So that's something to keep in mind. I mean, luckily when I got the Circle Pad Pro for the 3DS, it comes with a little strap, which really you can buy it fucking anywhere. Get that from to get that thing. You can even take it off one of your Wii remote controllers and do it if you look it up online. I believe you can anyway. I don't know if it's too big. Maybe the early versions of the Wii remote little strap, you could take that strap off. But no, I think the 2DS has a very I think it can turn out to be very well. Again, it's budget. It's supposed to be made, I mean, I don't know what it was started with it, but a lot of this has to do with Pokemon X and Y. The fact that Pokemon X and Y is coming out soon, a lot of people Nintendo's probably wanting to capitalize on the younger market for it. They know that the older fans are going to play or not play the game or whatever, but that focus on the younger audience is a big key. And the biggest issue is that kids can't pay for the 3DS. So either they made a cheaper version by taking out the 3D, which is a good thing in my opinion. I think that really helps out the that people who just have to fucking get their hands on it. And I admit I think it's going to be awesome for those people. And a lot of people who don't have a lot of money are just like, I'm gonna have to get this, and I totally fucking understand that. It works, I think. I think it works. But, a lot of people, still want to complain about it. But I think Nintendo's other option as well was that if parents are going to buy it for the kids, again, they don't want to have the issue of parents thinking that the system's going to break. You don't want to pay a lot of money for something that's fragile and that kids are going to use. Fragile plus kid equals not fucking good. And, and I mean, with the console, it's not that big of a deal because at the very least, it's going to stay where it's at. But with the handheld, you're moving that, you're throwing that thing around. They're kids, they throw crap everywhere. You got to be careful sometimes. So, trying to keep it as safe as possible and as sturdy as possible seems like the better method, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people, just from the simple look of it, have said it looks uncomfortable, but most people who have actually played with the system so far, that have got their hands reported on it, say it's actually pretty comfortable. And personally, I agree, because as I will admit, a lot of controllers seem like, especially for Nintendo, seem like they can be uncomfortable at times. When you actually hold them, that's a completely different story. I at first thought, I'll even kind of hold it right now to explain it, but I at first thought that the Pro controller for the Wii U was just going to be crap. It was going to be one of the worst controllers out there. And, I wanted to have some optimism about it, so I'm like, okay, I'll try it with an open mind. And I tried it with Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, and I have to say, it is fucking actually a really good controller. I don't know what it is. I think it's the simple fact that I know it's completely going off topic here, but it's just supposed to kind of go off about how this could be the same for the 2DS, but for the Wii U Pro controller, it's very comfortable to have both of your hands on the sticks on the top of it, because for whatever reason, I think it's because it feels so symmetrical that it's both on the left and right side, unlike with Xbox, it's going to be the stick's going to be down, or the stick's both going to be on the bottom. And I like the PlayStation controller more too. I'm not really a big fan of the Xbox design of the controller. I do like the GameCube one. That's probably one of my favorites. But I think it has more to do with the R and L buttons. But for the most part, I think it's because it's symmetrical, and I think it really works. My only issue ever being that sometimes I feel like I want to push the B button and I push the A button. But, that's something you got to get used to at first, I think. But, I think the same thing could happen for the 2DS as well. I think it looks like it might be this uncomfortable piece of shit, but actually it's going to be comfortable. It might not be very portable in the sense you're going to be able to stick it in your pocket, and it's definitely going to be a pain in the ass if you want to do spot bass. But I don't really think it's that big of an issue. It's just more than likely, too, Nintendo will come out with some peripheral where you can clip it on your belt or something and carry it along with you. It might be this big honking fucking thing, but at least you'll be able to carry it with whatever thing they give you. And if they don't, somebody else will. This happens. It's capitalism. People make shit for you. I really don't much else to say. It just seems like Nintendo's trying to capitalize on the X and Y market. They're trying to make sure that if people want a 3DS, they can get one. It might not be in 3D, but and it's just like I want to pay, and they want to. I think the biggest thing, and that's why they made it $40, is if they want people to think to themselves, either they can buy the 3DS in full and not just get it and not get a single game for it, or they can instead buy a 2DS and get Pokemon X and Y with it. And knowing Nintendo, I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be bundles out there with the 2DS, which might even make it cheaper. So that'll definitely get some people to maybe instead buy a 2DS. Though a lot of people who have, who are ready for X and Y have basically already bought a 3DS. If I remember correctly, actually, when Pokemon X and Y were announced, people were already buying, right afterwards, people were already buying 3DSs, because that just shows how much power Pokemon has. Pokemon is definitely the biggest seller for handheld or home console. Either one, that is the biggest seller for either one, I think. And I think a close second might be Halo, but at least at first, it seems like people with the Xbox One don't give a shit about Halo now. But I think it's a big key for them. So anyway, let's get off the topic now. And I know it seems kind of pretty fast. Only been fucking 10 minutes and I'm already getting off it. But let's get off the 2DS and let's go to the PlayStation Vita for once. Now, I'm with everybody here on the fact that the Vita is probably the worst fucking console on the market right now in terms of games. You know what? I understand that a lot of people are kind of worried about the Wii U. They're not sure if their Wii U is going to have the games they want, but I'm seeing a lot more. And I'm kind of looking at this as the perspective of, that kind of happened with the 360 as well. There were good games, but it just didn't seem like it might have been worth it at the time. And, people still bought it, though. They bought a lot of Wii U's. And, and actually, the Wii U, at least at first, had more consoles sold than both the 360 and PlayStation 3 did when they first came out. And keep in mind, 360 also had a head start. So, I think that's a big key. Yes, the Wii outsold the Wii U, but that's probably more of the simple thing with price and whatnot. And while sadly, I think sticking with the whole Wii U thing with that Wii in there kind of confuses people they think the controller is just a peripheral, but it's not. And I can get how that was a stupid move by Nintendo. However, I do think that the system has a lot of games going for it right now that I'm really looking forward to. I like Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I know there was a version in Japan for PlayStation 3 and the PSP. I know that there was a version for the Wii, but this is the best version of it, and it's the first time I've gotten into the series, and I have to say, I fucking love it. Many of the other games maybe not as well. I like Nintendo Land. It's definitely a fun party game. I've played it with my girlfriend. I'm doing a Let's Play of the Pikmin Adventure with my girlfriend. We still have to get those last 3 videos recorded. We have free time on Saturday, so I'm hoping we're going to do that then. But if not, I apologize. I'll try to get them out as soon as possible. But, yeah, I think the Wii does have its fair share of stuff, and things are coming out for it now that people are looking forward to. And the Vita doesn't have that, however. I mean, with the Wii U, we're getting stuff like the Pokemon tournament kind of thing, the fighting game, which seems really interesting. We're also getting the that weird game by Monolith Software about, the mechs and stuff, which looks really fucking cool, if you ask me. Pikmin 3 came out recently. I want to get my hands on that, but I don't have money. Super Smash Bros. I know it's for the 3DS as well, but the best version is definitely going to be on the Wii U, more than likely. But it's stuff like that are going to... it's stuff like that really keeps the Wii U going, and the Vita just doesn't have that. The only thing the Vita really has to sell itself right now is that it is going to be able to remotely play a PlayStation 4 games wherever you want to be, and I will admit, that's cool. That's a cool device. That means I can, if I have PlayStation 3 in the future and I have a Vita, I could have my PlayStation 4 at home. I could be out, miles away, and through, streaming software, or not streaming software, but basically streaming the, it's kind of like streaming software. Basically stream it to my PlayStation Vita, and I can play my games away from home. That's a really cool thing. But it's a fucking game console. Where are the games for the Vita that sells it? The only thing the Vita has right now are not the games. I understand some people are like, Michael, there's this game and that game. There's not a lot of games for it that really sell the Vita, though, as a console. Definitely not like Pokemon. They need something like Pokemon, like Halo, like... stuff like that. They need stuff like that to help sell the Vita, and they don't have that. The only interesting things right now, and I will note about the Vita, is that the whole remote play thing, which some of the games could be done. You could do it for PlayStation 1 games, for the PlayStation 3, I know, but I really didn't work out too well for me. I don't know if it was because of my PSP or something, but I didn't like it that much, and I didn't like how they worked with the whole L and R, or the L2 and R2 buttons. But the Vita has that going for it. It has the whole thing where now that it's dual analog, old PlayStation PSP games can be played on the... Now, I don't know if PSP, the UMDs can be played on the Vita, but I do know that the digital games can be played, and a lot of them have been... and I don't know if doing this would actually help the digital games, but you can use the C-Stick now, and that was a big issue with the C-Stick, but the camera stick, basically, which was, a lot of the things people are complaining about with the 3DS, which is why they have the Circle Pad Pro, but basically, that was made for the, a lot of games are kind of being remade, like Monster Hunter is a big one for Japan, so Monster Hunter 2, Freedom Unite actually made a version for the PS Vita, not a remake, but just kind of a messing around so that you can use the C-Stick for the Vita. That sounds interesting because, as I've said, I like Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. I'm really getting into the series through it, and I'm looking forward to that big time. And and after that, the only other thing that really looking forward to is that Terraria and Minecraft are coming to the PlayStation Vita. I mean, these are some pretty good handheld versions of both really addicting games as in Terraria and Minecraft, because there's fun games out there, and obviously you can do the mobile version of Minecraft, and the mobile version of Terraria came out recently. But the biggest issue with those, however, are that they're not, I don't know about Terraria, but I know with the Minecraft version, it's not as entertaining. It's not as kept up as the mobile phone, or as the PC version or the 360 version, but it's a big issue, and I think that keeps the Vita up a bit. Is that this is definitely the best version of a handheld Terraria and Minecraft. Now I don't know if there's going to be touchscreen controls for the for like Terraria or Minecraft, where you can touch the screen and that works. That'd be cool. Obviously, you still have to do console stuff, but handheld version of something with Terraria and Minecraft that's that addicting, that's entertaining, but that's not really a seller because they aren't exclusives. They're just, I'd still rather just play the PC versions of both games because that's the best version you can get out there. And but best for handheld, Vita looks interesting. But after that, there's no games to sell the Vita. But the PlayStation Vita TV is definitely a step in the right direction. See, basically, the PlayStation Vita TV is a device that, at least to our knowledge, is going to cost $100. Meaning that, I didn't actually note this, but the Nintendo 2DS that came out recently is going to be $130. The regular 3DS is $170. And the extra large, the XL, is $200. Now, basically, I believe there's going to be 8 gigabytes of memory on the PlayStation Vita TV at the start. And if you want a memory stick, that's an extra 8 gigabytes, I think. Don't quote me on this. But there will be a bundle that'll be $150. There's no announcement for the West yet, but more than likely it's going to come our way. And it does a lot of cool things. One, it allows for you to actually play the... It's not a handheld at all. Instead, it is just the Vita on your TV. Currently, there's no way for touchscreen controls to work yet. It'll have to be fixed in a patch where basically you push some kind of button and you can use the control sticks to treat it like finger swipes and motions and stuff. I don't know how exactly that would work. I don't even think that sounds that comfortable. They're also going to try to convert it so that the PlayStation, the DualShock 4, the PlayStation 4's controller, can work for it. And for a different reason I'll explain in a second, but basically work for it as well. And hopefully they use the touchscreen on... I know it's not as big as the Vita, but they can use something like it to help kind of work with it so that the back of the Vita can be... or not the back, but because keep in mind, the Vita actually, if I remember correctly, has 2 touchscreens. One on the top and one on the bottom. But at least for the top ones, you can use your fingers on that, and that might be helpful. So... some people are complaining, the Vita doesn't have a lot of... Vita has a lot of touchscreen games out there. And it's like, at the same time, though, they have a lot of... They have things out there so you don't have to use the touchscreen, and that's helpful for people who don't really give a shit about that. So, overall, the Vita TV seems like a good thing because it plays PlayStation 1 games off of the Vita. Keep that in mind. Off of the Vita, not... You can't stick in a PlayStation 1 game, actually. It plays PSP games. Now, when it says that, I think it doesn't even mean digital. I think it does mean... Which is why I'm confused about whether the Vita still uses UMDs or something that can read UMDs. But it can play PSP games, which is very helpful. I doubt dual analog will work for that version unless a company out there patches it. So basically, if I think they might be able to patch it. I'm not sure. For the first Monster Hunter game, that was released in Japan, and but I don't think Capcom has come out with something that supports the Vita's dual thing, and I don't know if that works. So I'm a little confused on that. I hope there is a way to get it to work, but, if that works, that's awesome. God, I lost track of what the fuck I was thinking of. But basically, it plays PSP games, and hopefully, I believe it says UMDs and PlayStation Vita games, and that don't. I mean, I believe they can play games that have touchscreen controls, but you're not going to be able to do a fucking thing. But overall, this is a good step forward. You're making a device that, one, a lot of people don't really care about handhelds on a handheld. I will admit, I haven't played my 3DS as much as I hope I have, just because of the fact that, as much as I like the 3DS, I don't really want to have a controller right in my face to play the game. I would rather have it on my screen, and sadly, the Vita's been the last handheld device that has had something displayed on their TV, and by device, I mean a console, not a phone or something. Don't throw that bullshit in my face. But since the Game Boy Player, and I think Nintendo was the only one who did that back then, I do not believe God, why can't I think? I do not believe that the anything from the Sega Genesis or even the I don't think Sega or Atari did anything like that. But basically, the first thing that did that, I believe, was the Super Game Boy, which added some color to the colorless games for the Game Boy. There was the stuff for the Nintendo 64 that just played Pokemon games for Game Boy Color. And then the Game Boy Player played Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games, which is really cool. I never got my hands on it, sadly. But what I'm trying to say here is that I don't... God, why do I have to draw such fucking blanks in my head? But it's nice that the Vita's doing this. It allows it to be played on TV, And minus that this device might also have the whole not encryption, but the protection for HDMI. This will make it easier for people who want to record games off of their Vita, which is very helpful because the 3DS doesn't even have this function. And as I've said before, I really wish I could watch it on my screen. The only way I could do that really was to view it off of a capture device. But that costs like an extra, I believe on their own, it's like $100-something bucks. For a capture device, actually, I think it's $300. If you buy it on the spot, it's like $300. But if you, because you can buy them with them already in, but at the same time, you can send yours in and have it modded to be a capture device. And I do want to get that. I think that's awesome of the guy for doing it. But the fact is, I shouldn't have to do that to do something on the TV. Nintendo should try to at least do something to try to do it. I mean, at least with the Wii U, I mean, okay, you still want us to buy the 3DS. I totally get that. But find a way to convert it so I'm able to play a lot of games on the Wii U, but also off of the 3DS. I mean, that's possible, isn't it? I don't know. This is my personal opinion about it. I think it would work well. Because, one, it would help recording, but obviously Nintendo probably doesn't give a shit about that. But it's overall more entertaining sometimes to play a game sitting back and watching it off your TV or whatever device, or whatever displaying device you're using. I use a monitor for my biggest one in my room. But, and it's nice to see Sony gets that, and again, it's a cheaper price. The thing is, I will admit, I'm really looking forward to the PlayStation Vita. I might even get it because it's only $100. But, I mean, the only reason I'd really get a Vita before is if some sort of infamous game came out for it, and even then I'd wait for it. But after that, they really need to come out with something that's an addicting game that people like. They need to come out with the game for the Vita. They need to come out with a Pokemon, a Halo, anything. I mean, I don't know, Halo's probably not a good example, but they do need to come out with something that helps push that forward and makes the Vita a game system worth having. Being we have some RPGs. Here's the thing: a lot of people defend the PlayStation. The PlayStation or the PlayStation Portable, the PSP, same thing, but PSP has games. Yes, it has games, but it doesn't have the game. Guess what? The Xbox had games. The original Xbox had some good games, but nothing that was such a seller that you needed to buy the system. That was or at least not without Halo. Without Halo, Xbox and even the 360, I think, would just be fucking nothing. And people will be like, oh, but you have Gears of War and Fable and stuff, and it's like, that's cool, but they're not as big as fucking Halo, and that was a big thing for people. That was a big change for the video game industry, good or bad. I'd argue that it's more bad considering of the copying in the industry and how it just seems. I don't know. I don't like the FPS genre as much as I've liked other things out there. I think they're very mundane now. But, still, it was a catcher for a lot of people. Pokemon itself was a big catcher, and a lot of that has to be from just the marketing potential of fucking alone from that series. I mean, seriously. All these Pokemon, which you train on your own, and they evolve to become cool monsters, but at first they're cute. Not only being able to capitalize on both young boys, but young girls at the same time, and also have a strategy aspect behind it, which also grabs the bigger fans away and actually compete against each other. That's a lot of fucking marketing potential that I lost my breath. And that's not even going into the very deep part about it. But, both of those, very good sellers for, probably the best sellers in the past years for the systems. Definitely Pokemon's the biggest one ever. But they don't have anything for the Vita. And the only thing they really had was Monster Hunter, but they lost that to Nintendo now as both the... I mean, they might be able to, I'm not sure, depending on how this next plan worked. But basically for Monster Hunter 4, that's going to be a 3DS exclusive, and whatever version comes out afterwards will probably be exclusive to both 3DS and Wii U. And if anything does come out, it'll probably have to be past a contract. And, it might be nice, but they're definitely not going to get the best version, more than likely, of the system. So, or at least they're probably not going to get the best version of Monster Hunter 4, and that was really the only thing they had going for them. I mean, seriously, at this point, it would have been awesome for them if they kept Monster Hunter. Hey, man, Capcom, please, come out with something for the Vita. That's fine. I'll be able to play it off my Vita TV. That's sweet. Yeah, I really have to give props for Sony for most of what's going on with the Vita TV. Also, it can remotely play, I totally skipped my mind. The PlayStation Vita TV can also remotely play, because as I've said, it's not a handheld. It only plays off of TV, so it's all that kind of junk. But it also can, because the Vita can remotely play stuff, they're doing it with the Vita TV, where basically, if you have your PlayStation 4 in another room of the house, and, right now, the PlayStation, or my PlayStation, let's just say I have a PlayStation 4 in my room right now. I don't. But let's just say I have one in my room out now, and, everyone's out in my living room going, hey, Michael, bring out the PlayStation 4, I want to, we want to play some, I can't think, but bring out the PlayStation 4, we want to play some, Little Big Planet, or I'm out there and I'm just like, I really just want to kick it back in the living room today, no one's home, and I'd really like to play it off this big TV or something like that compared to the little one in my room. Instead of having to bring out all of the stuff for the PlayStation 4, or not too long ago I did that for my, for the Wii U one time, when I was playing something in the other room. But basically, bringing all my stuff for the PlayStation 4, I could just bring the Vita TV, plug all that shit in, which is very minuscule compared to the plug the PlayStation 4, and then play it off of that. I can play my devices off of that. Actually, I don't know about the whole thing. I know that you can remote control with the Vita, but I don't know. Can you remote control with multiple people? That's actually, or not really multiple people, but like let's say for the PlayStation 4, if there's a Little Big Planet game out for the PlayStation 4, can I do it with more than one person? That's actually a pretty interesting thing, and can you do it at the same time? Because I'm not sure, does it play the screen at the same time, or does the screen not actually show and it just streams it to the Vita? I'm not sure about that, actually. But overall, I think it's a good thing. I think the Vita TV has a lot going for it. They just need that game seller, and I don't really personally know what they could do themselves. Considering the fact that Pokemon is a very addicting handheld game, I think it's probably a better idea if they try to go more for, that kind of a feel. Maybe not an RPG, but a feel where something can be very marketable. Obviously they want to go for a little bit more serious, but, why not go for a few of the younger audiences? There's not really an issue with that. So far, as a lot of people have stated, currently the Vita TV is just as expensive as the Wii, and technically, while it might be based off a handheld, it's a home console. And, it's definitely better than the Wii, so, people should definitely go for the Vita instead of the Wii. I personally don't care about the Wii. It's an interesting thing, I will admit. Something that might be worth a try, especially with all the emulators and stuff on it. But for the most part, after that, I really don't give any kind of a fucking shit for it, personally. But, it's definitely a better version of that, because basically you have a lot of the stuff you want, along with the newer games out there. The only issue is that there's just no games for the Vita. There's just PlayStation Portable games. And at the very least with here, you're not going to have an issue with scaling, because that was an issue with the PlayStation P, or the PlayStation Portable. PSP, I don't know why I'm having issues with that. But basically, that was a main issue with that, was that I've actually wanted to record, whether or not I wanted to see if I can do something where I can record off my PSP, because I want to record Naruto Ultimate Ninja Heroes 2, because I love that game. Compared to 2, Naruto Ultimate Ninja 2 itself. For the PlayStation 2, it has my second favorite story, with that game being first. But my second favorite story about how they worked with everything with filler and whatnot. I thought that was interesting. I'm just like, I need to record something with this, and it's just that I don't want to have to buy a lot of the stuff, and it seems that the scaling on the sadly, that the scaling on the PSP stuff that I looked at, on the TV, it looks like shit. For recording, it's easy just to crop out or something, especially since I have Sony Vegas. But after that, there's not really a lot I'd really, want to do with that. But from the looks of it, this Vita TV I think that'll work out pretty fucking well. And I'm gonna look forward to it. If I do have money in the future, I'll definitely get it. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the Vita TV. I think the 2DS isn't as bad as a lot of people say. I really don't know what else to say. Just basically, Sony, get your ass together with the Vita. I understand. I know a lot of people are just like, Sony's. I hate how people are trying to act like, stop trying to make this system a thing, guys. And people are just want to hate these systems and they don't want to buy them. And that kind of boggles my mind at times. Even for the Xbox One, I want it to succeed personally, at least without all the bullshit behind it, obviously. That just pisses people off. And general sense, which was something that I actually read recently about. Some people are like, oh, why is it that you can't laugh about the 2DS, but you can laugh about the Xbox One when they do something wrong? And it's like, you do realize that the Xbox One is supposed to be the main console. Once that sets in, it's done. Whatever goes on for the Xbox One can't be changed, or else you have an issue with... basically, it might seem like it has the same name, but they're two different systems if they try to change anything. And the 2DS, this is the third type of console that's come out afterwards. The stupid fucking computer keeps sleeping on me. But, the same thing goes for the same thing doesn't apply to the 2DS because it's the third fucking version of the 3DS. Whatever people had an issue with the 3DS is completely gone by this point if they're complaining about the 2DS, because really it's just they can't change anything with that. If there's an issue about it, it's an issue with that version. If they don't like that version, they can get another one, especially since it's smaller issues. It's just, if it's the clamshell and the 3D that you can actually have, fine. Then get the more expensive one. It's not an issue with the Xbox One. It's not like, oh, get the version of the Xbox One that doesn't have the Kinect or the DRM or stuff like that. No, that's gone. No one bitching me about that. But basically, stuff like that. It's like, no, that doesn't fucking count. Because you can't get that version. We don't know if those kind of versions will ever fucking come out. And knowing how Microsoft is treating the Kinect right now, probably not. So it's it doesn't work, and I disagree with anyone like that. My only other issue I've had with the Sony lately is the whole thing with whether or not being able to use an external device. And the biggest issue I've had with it, I know they were talking about it over at the Superplex Brothers. Go check them out. Awesome guys, Matt and Dave. They talk about both wrestling and video games. They have two different sections. They usually talk about wrestling first. So if you're not really care for that, you're going to have to skip a little bit along until you find it. But, great guys. But they were talking about stuff today, which was going on in the Facebook page. And just my only issue, and they were talking about that, but, I just want to do that as a segue of go check out their shit. Come on, I'll put a link in the description for the Facebook page and the other things. Come on, go check them out. But, it was about Sony, about how they're going to treat external devices, and whether or not they'll go after people if they try to use the get-around for the protection on the HDMI. And this is also an issue for the Vita, I think, which is why I'm bringing it up. Because keep in mind, the Vita could get more popular if people had an easier chance of making Let's Plays and stuff out of it. Keep in mind, popularity can, games can be very obscure until a version of something comes out where people go, oh fuck, this looks awesome. I'm definitely getting my hands on a Vita now because it has this game. I didn't really have catch my eye before, but now that I've seen gameplay, now that I've seen someone record it, that's pretty awesome. I mean, that's why the 3DS got some popularity with some of their games, like Fire Emblem, at least to my knowledge. Games like Fire Emblem and just a lot of other games out there have gotten more popularity thanks to the fact that people have made their own capturing device for it. And it's sad that Nintendo is going after them. Or at least used to. I know basically the Rampage has ended, but some people still have their copyrights for their videos still taken, which sucks. But it does suck that at first they tried to take it away from people, because overall it is helping the system to allow it to advertise it. Yes, if a game's bad and people just want it for the story, you're not going to make that purchase, but at the same time, there's a lot of other people who, when looking at a game are going to go, fuck, this game looks awesome, I have to get it. I bet even right now, with Chugga Conroy doing his Kid Icarus Let's Play, he's definitely helping shit out. He's definitely making a lot of people going out and buying Kid Icarus just for it. Sadly, I had my game before. I got it release day, actually, so so I am not one of those people who got it because of him, but I'm happy he likes it too, because I love the game. Second favorite game of all time. But, the Vita needs to allow that. Sony needs to basically maybe try to do a bypass for just, as soon as the game version comes on of something, maybe not anything else on the console, but the games come out, the game kind of application shows up, that both for the PlayStation 4 and the Vita, but at least for the Vita, so that when that pops up, it's like, oh, okay, we won't worry about that, because it's for the Blu-rays, but apparently Xbox One has the ability to get around it, so hopefully they can do the same for the PlayStation 4 and the Vita, but basically, if they're worried about them for movies, they can have it so that it disappears for the for the console. What the fuck am I goddamn thinking of? Basically allowing you to be able to do it for the game when the game shows up, so you're allowed to use your external recording device. And I think that'd be very helpful for the Vita, because as I've said, they'll be able to get people to record footage of the game and release it. And that can mean anybody popular. That can mean anyone sees a game that they like, whether it be a simple one for a Vita, just a little app, a little tiny indie game you can buy online, or if it's some actual big game for the Vita, and it's just a lot of people don't know about it because of obscurity. I think it could work. Keep in mind, Sony also needs to keep their eye out for people that are supporting the Vita. If there's any smaller, company out there supporting the Vita, they need to get their hands on them. Keep in mind, Nintendo and my mind skips. Nintendo and Game Freak for Pokemon, when they had their stuff going on, basically what happened was that Nintendo was definitely really happy about Pokemon, and they were definitely full on board with help funding them and stuff, which made it a lot easier for the company or Game Freak to distribute everything, basically. And that also made it I don't know if I call it a first-party title, but definitely they're still second-party. I don't know about now. I think they're still a second-party company, but they've definitely stuck... Yeah, they are, aren't they? Yeah, they are. But they've definitely stuck with Nintendo because of their focus. If anybody comes out with something, they don't need to fuck with them. Here's the thing. With Monster Hunter, some people might be confused on why they probably left Sony for Nintendo, and the biggest reason why is probably the simple fact that when the versions of Monster Hunter 3 that came out for both the PSP and PlayStation 3, they only came out in Japan, and here's the fucking reason why Sony did this. Apparently, because they did not have trophies for either version, it might have been just the PlayStation 3 version. Does the PSP have trophies? But because of that, they didn't, or at least they wouldn't help Capcom put it out for America. The fuck is wrong with you? You have one of the biggest selling games in Japan. You would love if this thing would catch on in America, and you're gonna tell Capcom, no, we're not gonna at least help. I don't know. I don't know if Capcom had any say in that, but if they could and they just had to fund it themselves, that's still bullshit. For Sony to kind of deny that, and that's probably why they went to Nintendo. They were fucking fully glad to bring over Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. It seems like the game has gotten pretty popular because of it. So more than likely, Monster Hunter 4 will be on its way, etc., etc. Sony trying to actually stop fucking a third-party company releasing probably one of the best games for your fucking platform. Without a doubt, Monster Hunter, at least for Japan, was the best game for the PSP. Probably hands down in terms of sales-wise because of just how popular that game is over in Japan. Holy shit, is that game popular. And it just... you need to, instead of do that, if you find a company out there, a third-party company making a game that is a pretty popular thing, pay attention, allow people to post videos online of Vita games. And after that, when a third-party company gets noticed, a smaller third party, which makes a really good game for the Vita, snatch them up. Pay them to become either a second party or a first party, or just pay, buy them completely for a first party company and help them develop their games more, kind of like how Nintendo did it, except for Game Freak is still on their own for doing what they want. I'm guessing they just get funding for the Pokemon games, because, or at least most games that come out for Nintendo, because after, the same year, Gold and Silver, I'm thinking of Crystal, when Gold and Silver came out, they did actually release one game, which was their last game for the PlayStation. It was called Clickmatic. It seems like an interesting game, but I can't find much info online about it. But that was the last game Game Freak actually had of anything. So for any other system but Nintendo. The other game I can think of is Harmony Knights, I believe was a thing. It was a 3DS eShop game. And then there was another game which was the weird drilling game for the Game Boy Advance. I don't know. But, other than that, it's just been Pokemon with them, and they need to basically do the same thing with another company. I don't know what the seller thing could be. It could be an RPG like Pokemon. It could be a shooter like Halo. It could be fucking anything, but just find anything that catches the attention of people and really focus on making a game for it. That is the biggest thing if you want the Vita to fucking sell. I know I'm hammering this in, but this is the point for the Vita. People complain, the Wii U doesn't have any games. The Wii U has plenty of fucking games. The Vita has no fucking games. I mean, I know a lot of people out there are gonna be like, oh, Michael, if you have a Vita, I don't have a Vita, by the way, but if you have a Vita, you gotta check out Persona 4 Arena. You gotta check out the. I actually don't know how good this game was, but the Sly Cooper something in time, like I think there was something with time game for that game. You gotta check out those games. Those are good games and all. Don't get me wrong. I don't really know about them, but more than likely, they're good games. I'm not doubting those games. I'm doubting them as system sellers. They don't have that. I can at the very least say that Nintendo might be having that issue, at least a little bit, but after a certain amount of games come out, it's really not that big of a deal, for a system. It's like, I think there are enough games at least coming out for the Wii U that it's just like, go buy the fucking system. Are you fucking kidding me? It's Nintendo. That's my thing, too. It's Nintendo. Something's going to come out, a Mario game. Something's going to come out that's just going to blow your fucking mind. I thought Skyward Sword was a really good game, at least in controls for the Wii. I thought a lot of the other games, such as the Kirby Return to Dreamland, I still need to get my hands on Mario Galaxy, but people love Mario Galaxy. There's going to be good games out there for the system. I know this. This is Nintendo. I'm not expecting that. I'm not expecting any less from them. But for the PlayStation, the PSP... The PSP didn't go anywhere, really, in terms of system sellers. Maybe for Japan with Monster Hunter, but they fucking lost that. And they can't even do that for America. And even if they didn't lose that, it probably wouldn't be as popular because of, other things. Well, I wouldn't say... Actually, I should retract my statement with Monster Hunter 3, because technically they released something for the Wii first. But the reason why they released something for the Wii is because the Wii was more popular at the time. And, more consoles, more money for them. Completely understandable. I get that from a business perspective, but when they actually fucking made a fucking game for your system, holy shit! Pay a fucking attention and actually let them have freedom of that. I don't know if they were getting funded or something like that or anything like that, but allow them to have freedom for what the fuck they want to do. Don't put your hand in front and go wait. Can't do this. Sorry. No, you don't say no to fucking a third-party company that can do whatever the fuck they want. They're not gonna stick with you afterwards. Look what they're doing with Monster Hunter 4 right now. That might change in the future. You might get like one fucking game, but other than that, you're fucking screwed with that. I mean, without a Monster Hunter game, Vita's not gonna sell, and especially if there's only gonna be one game for the Vita. I mean, at least with the Monster Hunter other games before. All 3 games are available for the PSP, the third one if you're in Japan. But, now, if there's only going to be one game for the Vita, if that happens. That's a major fucking if here, if that happens. So, you done fucked up there. So, really, I'm probably talking about this longer than it should be. I'm probably going to end this video now. But basically, Sony, step it the fuck up. Come out with a game seller, Do what Nintendo did. Pay attention to the third parties. Pay attention to what sells in both America and Japan, or even if it's just individually. Even if you just have a system seller for each place, that's fine. Monster Hunter, the thing is that Monster Hunter definitely was a big seller for Japan, but at the same time, you need to focus on both markets. Focus for stuff for America as well, and then boom, your money's there. So, I do hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know I probably ranted on for longer than I should have, but for the most part, I got out what I wanted to say about everything. And, yeah, so all I think I can really say is, if you're watching my channel right now, I hope you're enjoying my Infamous 2 stuff. The quality wasn't as bad as I thought it was at first. I'm looking at it again now, and it might have just been that it was still processing, or the first video just wasn't as well done, because, well, it's the first one, what do you expect? But it looks like the quality, at least, is looking good. I think my commentary is good. A lot of people are watching it now. Thank you guys who are watching it. I know one of you is just, went through most of my playlist for Infamous 1, and I'm happy you're watching it. I hope you love the series now, because that's basically why I come out with this. Looking at the thing, I should definitely have not Monster Hunter. I should definitely have Infamous Festival of Blood out by October. So that's something I wasn't sure about at first, but I basically actually the last video is almost done finishing up for Sony Vegas right now, so that's pretty awesome. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do after that, but for the most part, for at least what's being uploaded to my channel, pay attention to that. I'm having some ideas for some SOs, some special occasion videos where I just release stuff but other than that, my channel's kind of clear. So, go check out my friends, go check out Dave, he's releasing the Tecmo Bowl, which is a wrestling game for the NES. Matt's doing the One Piece games, and I believe right now he's also doing Lollipop Chainsaw? At least he was for a bit, but I know he had a lot of Shin Megami Tenshin stuff coming out for his thing. So go check out his videos. Go check out their podcast, the Superplex Brothers. It's a pretty good podcast. They're on third episode right now, so yeah. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. I will catch you guys next time. This is Mike Jr. II, signing out.